Hi, I'm Bybreen and welcome back to another episode of Type 2 Makeover, where I give you my proactive patient approach in dealing with type 2 diabetes. Now, our bodies thrive on essential nutrients. However, there are two in particular that they just can't produce, and they are omega-3s, otherwise known as alpha-linoleic acids, and omega-6s known as linoleic acids. Now, we can get these acids through the foods that we eat and supplements that we take, and they're really important for our health, our overall health, because they help with brain development, our metabolism, our reproductive systems, skin health, growth of nails and hair, as well as maintaining the cell membrane. Now, the problems occur when there's an overconsumption of more omega-6s as opposed to omega-3s. Now, omega-6s are equally very good for us, but then if there's too much omega-6s, it can cause problems, i.e. it can create inflammation in the body, which then brings on a lot of pain, which is an indication that disorders are building up. So arthritis, heart conditions, as well as type 2 diabetes. And with diabetes, it's an indication that the essential fatty acid process has been disrupted. And the disruption can occur because there's this consumption of trans fats. Trans fats are found in margarines or peanut butter or in baked goods, the packaged stuff that we get in our supermarkets, so cakes and sweets and pies and cookies. Now, what happens is with trans fats, they can disrupt the actual cell membrane. So the cell membrane is curved in shape, but actually when you eat far too many trans fats, it then straightens out the cell membrane, which then means it lessens the effectiveness of the cell membrane. Now, the world-renowned cell biologist Dr. Bruce Lipton describes the membrane as being the brain of the cell. Now, when you think about it, we have between 50 and 70 trillion cells within our body that regulates everything that goes on. And so where we've got this disruption, particularly when we have type 2 diabetes, it means that the insulin comes to the cell door, it knocks on the door, but because the membrane or the brain of the cell has been changed, it can't hear the insulin knocking on the door, so therefore it has difficulty bringing the sugar into the cell. So one needs to be mindful as to the types of foods that you eat so that you're balancing between omega-3s, omega-6s and monounsaturated fats. Now, the benefits of eating omega-3s in particular is because it helps to relax the blood vessels. As a result of this, it means that it brings the blood pressure down and it can lessen inflammation. And so therefore our immune system becomes far more healthier. So as I mentioned, there's a range of seeds that you can take, or nuts. So there's walnuts and Brazil nuts and walnuts as well as almonds. And if you're a meat eater, you can then eat, or fish eater, you can have fish such as tuna or cod, herring and salmon. All of these are great sources. Also, if you're a vegetarian or a vegan like myself, you can have chia seeds, hemp seeds and flax seeds. Now, flax seeds are a really high nutritious source of omega-3s. And there's this discussion, whether you eat meat or not, should you be taking flax seeds as opposed to fish oil, for example. So flax seeds are seen to have a higher nutritional benefit for our bodies, and the reason being is because flax seeds contain 24% of omega-3s in comparison to fish oil, which only has 2%. Also, flax seeds are very high in fibre, and the fibre in flax seeds are known as lignin, and once we consume that, it then converts into lignan, and lignan then helps to regulate our immune system and begins to normalize our blood sugars. So, very important source of omega-3s. Now, there's a question mark over fish oil, because fish oil can also weaken or thin out the blood, so you need to be very careful Also, the naturopathic doctor, Dr. Axe, suggests that people who have diabetes or eczema or arthritis and they take medication should be careful and certainly consult their doctors when you're thinking about taking supplements if you're taking medication. And the reason for this is because if you take supplements as well as medications with these particular conditions, it could lessen the effectiveness of your medication. So you need to be careful, need to be mindful in terms of the types of food that you eat. And so, as I said, what you're seeking to do is to bring about this balance between omega-3s and omega-6s and monounsaturated fats. Because if you don't, you're going to be consuming the Western diet that is so high in these trans fats that you're unable to regulate your body. It's going to cause so much disruption and pain and inflammation, and will then continue to exacerbate your type 2 diabetes. But also, if it remains unchecked, it could then open up the doors to the possibility of clots in your lungs, as well as stroke, as well as heart disease. And with type 2 diabetes, if it remains uncontrolled, then these are the types of additional illnesses that can occur. So as always, I want you to stay well. I want you to always use your wisdom and get into dialogue with your doctor. So if you've got any questions or comments, put them in the comment box below. You know, I always love to connect with you. Stay well until I see you again on the next episode.